Welcome to today's episode of Souls Outside. Today we're going to get started by chatting a little bit about how we can listen to our inner child to know what we want before we meet Stephanie MacLeod, the owner of Saorsa Yoga, to learn about her path from authenticity to discovering her authenticity and bringing that out through her yoga practice. And then she's going to lead us through a beautiful centering meditation that I'm so excited to experience once again. Welcome to Souls Outside, where we're all about finding the trail to stay true to your path. We do this by inviting featured guests on every show to share with you how you can follow in their soul prints, so you can choose which trail maps you need to continue on your journey. My name is Shannon Pohl, and I'm loving having navigated my own pivot from engineering to now being a master results coach and hypnotherapist, plus a forest guide who loves getting outside so we can learn from the nature, foster stewardship, and really amplify our successes by being outside in nature. I'm so excited to have you join today's episode. Welcome to Souls Outside. All right, hello everybody. Today I'm really excited. It's episode number 2, and it's also our first guest episode. And I'm so excited to have Stephanie MacLeod, who is a mom at the dance studio I teach at, an amazing yogi teacher, both, and meditation teacher. And as we were talking and filming her episode, we've really been talking a lot about that authenticity and how, for a lot of us, our journey to our now place has been about peeling off of layers. So without giving away too much, I just wanted to use that to intro today's opening segment, because I thought we'd talk about our inner children. So I remember, and I wish I had a copy of this, but I remember reading, I'm pretty sure it was a poem, and if you have ever heard it before, please let me know. I'd love to know who wrote it, and actually have a copy of the full thing. You know what, maybe it's in Chicken Soup for the Soul book. I'll have to look into that. Anyways, so it was this poem about how this girl, as she grew, there was all these other ages in her. So even when she was 20, if she stubbed her toe, her 3-year-old might act out in pain. Or as she's navigating different life situations, maybe it was her 12-year-old or her 13-year-old that got like a little stubborn, teenagers can get. We all go through it. It's adolescence. It's natural. And so it just talked about how even as we get older and grow and we become wiser and things, all of our other ages are in us, and they're all contributing to our continuing life's journey. And so I wanted to open up this idea today, because I think there's also a lot to learn from our inner children and what they loved, what brought them joy, and being able to bring some of those things back into our lives. I know I'm going to share two of my inner children stories with you, that for me has been about bringing some things back, and also just been guiding. One has been a guiding principle in my life. And so I think as we are all looking for, what do we want to do with our lives? Who are we meant to be? What's our purpose? How can we be our authentic selves? There's a lot of gold in our childhood stories, in what our inner children believe in and thrive in. So as much as sometimes they have limiting beliefs that we need to go in and clean up or integrate into our now, which is super simple, and we can definitely facilitate that. There's so much gold there to learn. So first story I'd like to share is preschool me. And this is one of those like foundational pieces of life that while I haven't always listened to the wisdom or acted on it, it's always been there. It's something that I'm like, you know what? I've been like this since I was 5 years old. That's in me. I know it's there. So even when I lost sight of its power, when I peeled back some layers, I was able to find it and be like, no, I've done this before. I've got this. So when I was in preschool, maybe it wasn't 5, maybe it was 4. Anyways, I went to a Montessori preschool, and it was awesome. It was in a cool building. There was lots of things to do. And in the Montessori preschool setting, it's very structured learning. A little side note story is we have shapes that we could like trace. And one year on Halloween, I wanted to draw a pumpkin. and I was not allowed to draw a pumpkin unless I used the shapes, which my preschool teacher very nicely, elegantly, she showed me how to do that, which was really cool because I learned how you could use like the circle shape to make the different edges of a pumpkin. And I mean, we got to cheat a little bit for the peduncle, which I learned is the stem of a pumpkin recently. That's another story. Um, anyways, shapes. So it's open learning, and yet there's a structure to it so that you're learning and engaging with structured pieces. So anyways, we would, you go and there's a bit, I think a bit of a rotation through stations, not fully structured, but you move through different stations, which is great. You got to do your own thing. And you were also encouraged to explore all the pieces. So that's where a bit more of the structure came from. Anyways, so one of the things with preschool is that I don't know if it was a certain time of year or just every week or whatever it was, but parents were invited to come in, only a few at a time, to, I guess, do preschool with their child. And so that happened one day. And then apparently, I'm gonna go with 4 years old self, came home and I grabbed a piece of paper and I grabbed probably a crayon and I started scribbling, but writing. And my mom was like, Shannon, what are you doing? I'm writing a letter. Oh, what was her name? Miss Spinelli, I think? Miss Spinelli, write her a letter. Okay, Shannon, says my mom. About what? Since I didn't know how to write at this point. Those parents, they were bugging me, getting in my way. So I was writing a letter to my preschool teacher about how I did not appreciate these parents coming into our classroom, disrupting my day, apparently being a nuisance, and it wasn't even my mom. My mom didn't come. It was other parents in the space. They were disrupting my flow. And I wrote a letter. And so the next day, my mom, I don't know whether I took, whatever. The letter was given to the teacher. My mother explained what it said in scribble. And as my mom reminds me sometimes when this comes up, from then on, when parents were still allowed to come into the classroom, however, they had to sit on the wall and they weren't allowed to actually integrate with the learning and the play and all the activities we were doing. They had to sit on the side and just observe. Because I spoke up. Now, there's lots of other things, like maybe it's something as a child, need to get used to and all that stuff. And at the same time, I had a problem. I spoke up about it. I used my voice to be heard, to share my opinions, to do something about what was bothering me. And so this has become a foundational piece of my life is, one, whenever I would start complaining about something, my mom would just say, well, write them a letter. Because I already had, it had worked. Did I always write those letters? To be honest, I don't even know if I ever did. Maybe once or twice. And it's still a foundational piece because there's been times where I'm like, oh, I should really speak up and say something. And while I will fully admit there's many times in my life I probably should have opened my mouth and said something and I stayed silent, there are also times when I tapped into that inner 4-year-old, that power, that desire, that honestly, and that naivety and innocence, to really just tap in and say something and speak up. So that's where there's some real gold in that inner child for me. And the other much quicker story that I wanted to share is maybe it was my 16-year-olds, 15, 16. Anyways, when it came time for the choosing what to do at university, I didn't listen. This is only in the last few months I've even admitted this to myself and to my family. Because I went to school for engineering. I'm very proud of that degree and I highly recommend the program to people. It's a really good one. And at the same time, I denied my inner 16, 17, 18-year-old true desire to be an outdoor guide. I never even entertained it. I just wrote it off as impossible, not something that would work for me. And my goals, I was too smart, in quotes, to do that job because I was so good at math and science, so clearly I had to do something in that, which now I realize is crap, I will say. Yes, that really there was a space to entertain that, which I mean, and now that's one of those things I'm bringing back is I'm honoring that true desire to be an outdoor guide, and that's part of where Souls Outside came from was being able to bring in and facilitate how the outdoors and being outside can be part of our everyday lives, and lots more things we can talk about in another segment. So for now, I'll wrap that up. Listen to our inner child's wisdom. That's where a lot of our authenticity comes from, and keep listening, watching as we meet Stephanie MacLeod. Right. Welcome to our segment with Stephanie MacLeod, who is a registered yoga teacher and meditation teacher and the owner of Saorsa Yoga, which I just love because every time I say it, now I'm like, yes, I know how to pronounce that, which is wonderful since it's a Gaelic term. And getting here to chat with Stephanie a little bit about her journey into yoga. And I'm sure she'll share some highlights about how it ties in with both of our shared Celtic connections. So maybe Stephanie, begin by kind of sharing us a little bit about what you did before yoga, and maybe a bit of how you ended up getting into yoga in the first place.
Excellent. Yes, thank you, Shannon, for having me. Before yoga, I am a mom. I have many children. I have 8 children, and I've spent most of my life working in corporate jobs or in healthcare. I used to be a dental assistant as well, and I love being productive. I love contributing to my family, and it was also a necessity. So I spent a lot of time doing that, which I enjoyed, but it was not fulfilling to me. It certainly paid the bills.
Got it. So paid the bills, and then
Yes,
which we all need to do. We need to eat.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
definitely, that's got a little bit of what we're talking about on Souls Outside is how we can move from those just need to eat type places and mindsets to being able to eat and do what we love. And so for you, yoga has been part of that. And
Yeah.
I love the story of how you kind of got into yoga and your yoga teacher training story. Maybe you can share with us.
Well, yeah, there were a couple of things that led up to it. One was a physical health crisis,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a friend really push me to try yoga, which I thought was absurd. I thought yoga's not going to do anything. But then I went to a couple of classes and I really enjoyed it. And I really wanted to bring it to other people. I tried to share it with all my friends, with my family. And then I was actually having a really hard day, corporate life hard day. And I was at the yoga studio and I did a practice and it felt so great. And I went to the bathroom and on the wall was, are you tired of your 9 to 5? Do you wish you could be at the studio more? And of course, it answered and asked all these questions that I had floating in my head, but just thought could never be. So I did ask about joining their yoga teacher training, which was what they were advertising. Um, and I went. I didn't sign up that first time. I was a little scared. I waited and waited, and then I finally signed up. And my first or second weekend at yoga teacher training, I think it was my second weekend, I was just so physically exhausted. I thought, I can't do this. I don't know who I thought I was. Um, who did I think I was to do this? I can't. So I had a lot of coaching and help from my mentors and my teachers along the way who really just helped me move forward with that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I love universal messages when you're like
Yeah.
something. Oh, a sign, like a literal sign that says, "I'm the answer to all of your problems."
Yes.
Even if we don't actually listen to the said signs right away, at least they were there, so it kind of puts that seed in our minds.
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent. And then, so I mean, that's getting into yoga. And then, how did you make the decision to really dive into having a practice?
So towards the end of my training, and I have to say the training that I went through was so well done and comprehensive that at the end of it, one of the things we had to answer to was, what are you afraid of? And one thing I was afraid of was that I wouldn't fit the stereotype of a yogi,
Mm,
and that who am I going to teach to? I didn't know what I had to offer. And my teacher said to me, you know, first she said, you're a beautiful soul, you're a beautiful storyteller, and you will attract people who need you if you're authentic to yourself. And then that kind of made me realize that through the journey, I had not been very authentic to myself. I had been going along with the flow throughout all the lessons and um, not really being true to who I was. So that came about a bit later during our first physical practice where I had to teach.
mm,
And I was looking for a theme. And I was reminded, I was thinking, just be authentic, be authentic. What does that mean to me? And it went back to my Celtic roots. And it went back to my grandfather who used to tell me stories, who's Scottish, of Scottish descent, sorry. Um, and the word Saorsa came to mind, which had been thrown around a little bit. And Saoirse means freedom. And I used that throughout my little, that was like my first teaching practice was I want to help you find your freedom. And I view yoga very much in the same way I view religion. And that is that I think that we're all spoken to in the way we need to hear. And it doesn't have to be in a specific box. So if I'm talking about Celtic philosophy, it's so similar to the Eastern yogic philosophy, and there's a reason for that. It's because universally, it's all the same knowledge and the same wisdom.
mm.
So when I realized that I could present this still in the yoga package, I thought, I want to bring this to other people. I need to move forward with this because I feel like I have something to contribute.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing with everyone else. I know I've heard that before, but even still, when you said what Shirsha means, that it means freedom, I got chills. It was,
Yes.
oh, it's so exciting. And oh, I just love these stories. And I'm so excited because, I mean, for everyone listening, you do have a free gift that you're offering of a guided meditation, which now I'm even more excited to listen to. And we still have more to hear here today. Because you're going to give us a sneak peek of your practice. And I think one of the things I loved is that when we were talking about having you come on the podcast, one of the things you shared was that you believe that more than lessons in classrooms, it's verbal storytelling that sticks with our collective memories and guides us to our destiny, which is, I think, such a beautiful perception and phrase and focus on that, and how it is humans connecting and sharing those stories with each other is how we can grow and learn. And I know I'm excited uh, in just a few moments to learn more from you and experience a centering meditation with you today.
Thank you.
Excellent. And now we're back with Stephanie MacLeod, the owner of Saorsha Yoga, a registered yoga teacher and meditation teacher. And today she has a special treat for us, a centering meditation that she's going to guide us through to get a taste of her yoga practice, her meditation, her whole practice, and how everything kind of flows together for her. So, Stephanie, I'll pass it to you. I'm so excited to experience this with you today.
Thank you, Shannon. All right. So, first, when we practice a meditation, first, one of the reasons I practice meditation is to center and find myself. When I'm meditating, I'm reacting. That's what our meditation is. We're trying to still the fluctuations in our minds, the thoughts. So, our meditation is basically how we react then to our thoughts. So, one of the biggest benefits I've achieved out of meditations and centering prayer, for instance, are that eventually what I practice in my yoga and meditation practice, I then take out into life. So as I'm meditating and thoughts come up, I observe them and I allow them to leave. I'm telling myself now is not the time to react to that. Or maybe it's not even true. And then this is how we tackle life also once we take it beyond our mat, beyond our meditation seat. So today we'll just focus a little bit on bringing our awareness to our center, and then a little bit of a practice as well that allows us to release any thoughts. So get nice and comfortable on your seat wherever you are. You could be sitting on a chair, you could be on the floor, you could be at an office, and you can take this meditation anywhere with you in your own mind, closing your eyes. I like to have my palms up because I just feel it makes me more open. But depending on how safe and secure you're feeling, you can also have them down on your lap. Sometimes that makes you connect a little easier and feel a little more grounded. So find your comfort. That's most important. Before we move anywhere else, take quick stock of your whole body. And if there's anything that can just make you slightly more comfortable, then do that. Bring your awareness to maybe rings on your fingers. If your palms are up, maybe you need to turn the stone towards your palm. Relax your shoulders and allow your awareness to come to your breath, your inhales and your exhales, just as they appear, observing how they come and go, observing the movement in your body caused by your breath. And let's bring our awareness to our physical body, feeling grounded through the soles of your feet, through your seat, through your back. And bring your awareness to any sounds that you may observe. Without labeling them, just observe them. Sounds far away, maybe you can hear traffic, people talking in another room. Observe the sounds in your own space. Maybe air moving through a register or a duct. Maybe your own breath. And bring your awareness now down into your heart space, in your chest, this space, allowing it to be open, receptive. And visualize now the place that you're in. See if you can visualize what it looks like when your eyes are open. And then try to remove the barriers of the walls and visualize what the space would look like without the walls, without the greater walls of the building that you're in. And visualize that you're down on the earth, not on a floor, not at a different level or a story, but you're right down at the earth in the space that you're in. And begin to visualize what's growing around you and what would grow if there was no building, no floor. And visualize the people before you, the people who were here and living, the plants that grew around them, the activities in their day, the earth, this ground that we're on, that keeps us centered, keeps us connected to nature, has been here for so many other souls before us. And feel yourself connect in that way. This air you're breathing is the air that's been breathed by so many souls before us. And as you're feeling your chest expand and contract, in this space, there's also a collective wisdom, a collective memory of the people who lived here before you, the people who walked here before you, and the people who sat and maybe meditated or prayed or worked or laughed, people who raised their families here before you. And if there's anything to take from this collective wisdom, it's the sameness, the oneness, and the love that the human race passes from generation to generation, especially when we draw from nature. Allow your breaths to continue moving as you sit in silence and stillness for a moment. And as thoughts come up, observe them and release them. Much like a bird landing on a branch in front of you, observe it and watch it fly away. Observe the leaf that lands and watch the wind blow it away. And this is how we release our thoughts, observing and letting them go. They always return when you need them. If at any point your thoughts become too intrusive, always return to your breath. This is my in-breath. This is my out-breath. Now begin to feel the soles of your feet heavy, your body heavy. Deepen your breath, lengthen your inhales and your exhales. Wiggle your fingers and allow the light to come back into your eyes. Tense your whole body and relax. In the end of your meditation.
That was beautiful.
I'm glad you enjoyed.
Thank you Oh, please wrap
Right.
up.
Normally we would just say at the end, the light in me honors and acknowledges the light in you. Namaste.
The light in me not acknowledges
Honors and acknowledges.
honors and acknowledges the light in you. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you. That was that was beautiful. And just love participating in these. So yes, thank you, Stephanie, so much for joining us on Souls Outside today, bringing your wisdom and desire to share your experiences and with others, especially in this verbal storytelling space, and in blending all the things that are you and that make you you into one place, and daring to stand in your full Stephanie-ness, instead of trying to conform to anything else. So I'll just highlight for people, if you enjoyed the centering meditation as much as I just did, Stephanie's offering a free download. The link will be in the description, the show notes. And also on her website has some really cool 6-week customized programs that you can either do privately or in small groups of up to 5 people, which are amazing individual tailored practices for you and your group. So thank you again, Stephanie. And for everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you for joining us today on Souls Outside, and we hope you enjoyed walking in our featured guest soul prints as much as we did. As always, we like to wrap up each episode with our extreme gratitude and appreciation for our founding sponsors, who quite literally made it possible for Souls Outside to become a reality. First off, special thanks goes to Eche Savas and her company Palindrome Design for the amazing cover art, and noting that their sponsorship comes in support of their passion project, Self-Build Sustainable. We'd also like to thank Chuck Henry for his amazing music, original music, that is featured throughout the episode. And of course, Elise Cannon, our amazing editor, who quite literally made it possible for any of these episodes to see the light of day. They probably would still be on a hard drive on my computer without her expertise, skill, and passion for editing. So we thank them so much. And until next time, we hope you enjoy your journey and continue following in the soul prints of those who have gone before. Hey, one last thing before you go. If you wish you could talk about this episode with myself, our featured guest, or other like-minded individuals like yourself, join us on Facebook or LinkedIn in our Souls Outside Facebook and LinkedIn groups. On Facebook, we do watch parties. On both, we have awesome conversations about what we talked about and are able to answer your questions on how you can go even further on your soul print journey. See you there.